فاصل متواصل.
غريب أهل التفتش بأنه نزلوا.
حوادث مميتة. شفت كيف اتجوزوا على الفيديو؟ زي باسم عوضة هذا بيجيب الباسبورت العادي بس مستعمل على هذا بيجيب الباسبورت الامريكاني.
Where Mary, Martha and Lazarus used to live, and Bethany mentioned in John 11 where Jesus raised Lazarus after he was already 4 days laid in the tomb. And this used to be the main road between Jericho and Jerusalem and the Galilee and Jerusalem. Of course, we're in the West Bank, we're in Palestine, and this is an Israeli settlement here. Yes.
Now, we noticed there's green license plates, white license plates, and yellow license plates.
Yes, the green and white license plates are Palestinians, the yellow license plates Israelis. So you'll find in Palestine, Israeli can enter all places, but Palestinian license plates you'll never find in Jerusalem or in Israel. They are not allowed to enter Israel. So when you find these, you know you're in Palestine. This settlement to our right hand side is one of the big settlements here. It's not the biggest though. It has 45,000 people live in it. Mount of Olives is about 800 meters above sea level. We're going to 400 meters below sea level. Within short distance, within only 20 miles. A big difference of elevation. 4,000 feet or 1,200 meters difference in elevation. In the Judean desert, where John the Baptist went and lived in the wilderness, so we are in the desert and you can see the wadis, the valleys on our right hand side. It's like riverbed, right? So heavy rain up in Jerusalem, that will be carrying water towards the lowest spot, towards the Dead Sea. And that's why you'll find always plants, trees and bushes in the valleys. By the way, you're considered very blessed in this pilgrimage. The weather, you had the best weather so far. You're having the best priests here.
Yes, hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
You're having the best driver,
Amen.
the best bus, and the best tourist.
Amen.
And the best guy.
Amen.
Thank you.
Bless you, bless you.
1 week before you came, it was snowing. It was really very cold, raining, and snow. About 30% of the Dead Sea are solid substances. Salt, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and many other minerals.
Are they in the water or is it solid underneath?
No, it is dissolved in the water. Yeah. So nothing can live in it. So that's why it is called the Dead Sea. What's something? In Bethlehem, Beit Sahur, I spoke about the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, have a look at these mountains. 1, 2, 3. Can you see a cave?
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
hole.
yeah. That's one of the caves, and there are other caves on the mountain.
That's where they go.
And this is where the community center of the Essenes was. A community of religious Jewish people left the temple and they came and lived here, their community center. They stopped going to the temple. Being a religious community, they had to recopy the Bible. So they copied the Bible and they wrote their sectarian community law. And they hid their scrolls in caves. This is one of the caves, and other caves in the valley.
Yeah.
When 66 AD, 66 AD, the Jews in Jerusalem revolted against the Romans. 70 AD, the Romans destroyed the city of Jerusalem and came here, and they destroyed the community center of the Essenes. We didn't know a lot about the Essenes till 1900 years later, can you imagine? 1947, through the valley, a shepherd came counting his goats here. Some of them, one was lost. So he went to look for a lost goat. He reached one of the caves, not this one, another one lower. So he was afraid to enter. So he took a rock, threw it inside. Accidentally he broke a jaw. So he found the Dead Sea Scrolls. He thought, well, he was disappointed to find the Dead Sea Scrolls. He thought that he found gold and treasure. But he didn't know what these were. Did you take pictures? I'll continue the story on the bus. Okay? So, are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah? Alright, so he took the scrolls with him, piece of animal skin or leather. He wanted to do a pair of sandals. He went to a place, a shoemaker in Bethlehem, that makes, of course, sandals and shoes. And can you imagine? Again, I'm gonna mention that again. The population of this land is about 10 million, the whole Palestine, let's say, Israel, Palestine. 2% of the population are Christians. Some of the Christians, you may see other caves on the mountain. Some of the Christians, very few are Assyrian Christians. The Assyrian Christians, their mother tongue is Aramaic, and it is one of the languages that was spoken by the Lord Jesus. So imagine this shepherd picked up, there were Hebrew, there were Aramaic. By chance, he picked up the one in Aramaic. And by chance, he went to the Assyrian Christian shoemaker from the family of Kandu. So when he opened it, he couldn't read it. It's part of the Bible, the Old Testament. So he paid him the price of 2 books. Then they showed it to the patriarch, the Assyrian patriarch, and they showed it to the US, and they were sold for millions of dollars. Nobody here understood archaeology then. In the States, they knew that these are 2,000 years old. And excavation started. They found from the Old Testament a piece of every book, a fragment of every book of the Old Testament. The full book of Isaiah. Nothing was found from the book of Esther. Nowadays we have the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Israeli Museum, but as I mentioned yesterday, actually in Bethlehem, the family Kandu, they have a big place actually. Part of it is a museum of the things that were found. Actually, it's a store. They sell antiquities. They became the people that sell antiquities, authorized to sell antiquities. But part of it is a museum, and if we have time, if you're interested, may go there. One of the grandsons, one of the grandchildren of the gentleman, the shoemaker that bought the Dead Sea Scrolls, will mention the story if we have time. So, but what's important is the Bible that we have now, the Old Testament, the Hebrew and the Arabic Bibles that we see today are very similar to the ones that were written 2,000 years ago, were hidden here in this place. The Dead Sea Scrolls, the seals, and the shepherd that followed. A project is still under study, is to build a canal or to open or dig a canal from the Red Sea in the south. And if you keep going straight, 3 hours drive or 4 hours from here, you reach the Red Sea. So a project, but still under study, to open a canal from the Red Sea to feed the Dead Sea. Again, the Dead Sea is full of minerals, salt, calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, chloride, and many others. So it's very healthy to swim in the Dead Sea. It's mineral water. It is not that half-hour swim in the Dead Sea you will look 5 years younger. I wish you brought your bathing suits. I'll tell you what will happen if you stay more than one hour and a half.
Yeah,
But-
turn white, salty.
But that's after you swim, I'll let you. The other side of the lake, the eastern side, is Jordan. So the Dead Sea, Palestine, Jordan, Israel, Palestine, and Jordan. Masada in Hebrew means a fortress, a stronghold. The first people that inhabited Masada were the Hasmoneans, Hashmonaim, 1st century BC, time of Alexandria. Herod the Great, before being a king, brought to Masada his mother and his sister, and his and his future wife, his future mother-in-law. Left them there, and there were many battles there. And he went to Rome. 3 years later, that's 37 BC, he was anointed a king. So he came back and found them still living. So he understood the importance of that place. Although it was a dangerous time, but these people survived. Masada is too far in the desert and the mountain too high, nobody can reach easily there. But of course they almost ran short of water, so he had to solve the issue of water. And he built a strong fortress up there in case of any danger against him. That will be his safe haven. So he built walls, he built palaces, even up there. He wanted to live a fancy life, up to the standards of any king. He wanted a bathhouse up there, and palaces and many others. Herod the Great died. 66 AD, the Jews, the Zealots, revolted against the Romans in Jerusalem. 70 AD, the Romans defeated the Zealots and the Jews and destroyed the city of Jerusalem. The remaining of the Zealots came to Masada. Later on, 73 AD, the Romans, with the leadership of Silva, the 10th Legion, reached the bottom of Masada, besieged the mountain. They thought that the people, the Zealots, would surrender, but they never surrendered. So the Romans started to build a ramp to go up to the top. But the Zealots, it was easy to defend their fortress. Throwing rocks from the top was easy to defend the fortress. But the Romans had an idea. They brought in the front line Jewish slaves to be in the front line. So the Jews, a Jew cannot kill another Jew. The Jews up on top stopped throwing rocks on the Jews there. So the Romans built the ramp, yes, and went up on top. They found everybody dead. So what happened? The Zealots, the Jews, with the leadership of leadership of Elazar ben Yair. Elazar ben Yair and Ezer ben Yair gathered the men and told them and convinced them, do you want to see your wives abused by the Romans? Your kids taken into slavery? Let's prefer death over slavery. Each man should kill his wife and kids and stab himself to death. And they did it, and they kept 10 men to watch how is everything going on.
Él no quiere subir.
We met at the Franciscan
No lo conoces.
So this
I'm glad we went to an edge of standing up in the
¿Dónde fue?
Adrian, you must have a very good battery on your video camera.
yeah. 5,000.
Es gab so eine Lehre.
Okay, now we're good. Was a better way to get up here.
Yeah. Oh, you have to go up those steps.
Yeah, you can climb up.
No, yeah, you can.
Army Center! Come on, Army Center!
Please, let's meet together, please.
I know my
Gail's coming. Alright, so have a look at the quarry where they used to take the rock to build all of these. This is one of the quarries. So, Masada, Herod the Great. Why was he called the Great? He's a great builder. He built too many things. This is one of his projects. If you remember yesterday, we pointed out Judean, another fortress built by King Herod the Great. So, are we still missing people?
Yeah. Brendan's back there.
Brenda's right here.
17. One more.
Where's Vilna? Oh, right there.
All right. Now, below the black line is original. Above it is reconstructed.
Yeah.
We're standing. Where are we standing here? What do we have here?
The rooms?
Storeroom.
Yeah, it's food storage. Storeroom. We're not food though. Okay. So this is, of course, that's covered. Dried food here. This is one small room. Imagine from there, these are all storage till the end. These are all food storage. Of course, the king, in case of any danger or revolution against him, he will have enough food for himself, his family, his guests, and of course the soldiers for long period of time. Okay, now this is reconstructed here, but this is original. Everything is original. Of course, the dust was removed. They removed all of the dust, but they kept everything. Now, no, you can understand that this should be up here, that should be up on top, and so on. This is the way how they did the reconstructions.
This is where King Herod comes with you. Okay, you've done a good process.
The shade, it will be nice and cool. And it is built in a way, a 3-story palace. If you like to see the 2 other stories, we're in the top terrace here, the center, and the lower part. And can you see the shade? Where is the shade now? What time is it now? 10 o'clock. 10:30. It's built in a way that noontime, the hottest hours of the day, the shade will be formed on the center. So there will be shade, and it's open from almost all sides. Nice breeze, even in a hot summer day, that will be nice and cool. There. In a hot summer day, there will be nice breeze and it will be very nice and cool. So this is the northern palace of King Herod the Great. The Great is under danger. He wanted to live a fancy life, up to the standards of any other king in the city. So he gave his orders. to build a bathhouse that consists of 3 main rooms: caldarium, tepidarium, frigidarium. Hot room, medium temperature, cold room. Changing room, outside courtyard. We're in the outside courtyard. We're gonna enter through the changing room. We're not gonna do any changing.
Not yet.
Then we pass through the medium temperature,
Because the other is too cold.
which is room temperature. We'll see the cold room, and we'll go to the hot room there, where I'll do the explanations. Yes, I'll show you how the hot room. And if you can see the different colors, no paint here, different stones, different sand from different places. For example, black color is a basalt stone, white color is a limestone, and so on. So different colors on the wall. So this is Herodian. That's during the time of the Zealots. That's 66 AD. Herodian, 37 BC. So this is time of the Zealots, 66 AD. They added this basically.
For the purification.
These tiles, time of King Herod. So fancy tiles, fancy colors on the wall. Now, the medium temperature is here, which is room temperature.
Already have
How does that work here? Can you see these? These were not seats. These were underground. Best example is that corner. Can you see it?
Yeah.
These small pillars to support the ground, where furnaces and ovens underground, and openings. Can you see the glass over here? That's added openings to do the air circulation underground. Now have a look at this wall. Can you see? There was something attached to the wall, right? Again, best example, best thing is there. Hollowed bricks, in order to transfer the heat from underground to above ground through chimneys, so people won't be intoxicated with carbon monoxide. Without water, like a dry sauna of today. With water, like steam room of today. You may enjoy the hot room bath. I'll be back in a week or in a week.
They have a furnace, as soon as it gets hot, the steam goes all through here, so it won't be that hot when it's outside.
You know, all along the piping and wall, you see that all in.
Why would you want a hot roller in the middle of the desert on top of a water?
Well, actually, why did he build it? In case of any danger. He probably didn't live here a long time. Probably came for vacation or to visit or see if his works came up to the standards that he wants. So, it was used later on by the Zealots. The Jews that revolted in Jerusalem, they were defeated and they came back here in 73 AD. 960 of them. And I told you what happened. I'm gonna repeat a few words. Silva gathered the men, convincing them, do you want to see your wives abused by the Romans and kids taken into slavery? Let's prefer death over or in front of slavery. Each man should kill his wife and kids and stab himself to death. And they kept 10 men to see how it's gonna end up. And they made the locks. The potsherds were found in that room there, the 10 names. Who's gonna be the last one to kill number 9 and stab himself to death? And that's what happened. Now, 2 ladies heard the speech of Elazar and Isa. They were hiding in a water system, and they met Silva, the leader of the Romans, and they met Josephus Flavius, the one that wrote about this. And they told him what happened and what they did. So, the story of Masada. Now, we didn't solve the issue of water, right? We're gonna see how they solved the issue. Please follow me. Let's meet together.
Let me look at you.
Where's the water coming in?
Is rainwater enough to fill it up? No. Alright, don't change the channel. I'll let you know now in a minute. You know that we do have heavy rain. Heavy rain up on the mountains. Did you see the prints or the effect of the floods last week? So, heavy rain up on the mountains. The valleys here will be flooding. We do have flash flood. So the flood, they built water aqueducts. And they built or dug water cisterns at the foothill of the mountain. So heavy rain up on the mountains, snow up on the mountains will end up a flood here that will fill up all of these water systems. And from down with the mules and animals to fill up the top water systems up there. I'm gonna repeat the demonstration for you. Heavy rain up on the mountains, the valleys will be flooded. We do have flash flood here. So heavy rain up on the mountains, Velma. And big water systems. They dug big water systems down at the foothill of the mountain where heavy rain there filling up all of these water systems. And from here they used to take with the mules up to the top water system to fill them up.
They took them up with mules then?
Mules, yeah. And let's have a look in reality. Okay, let's have a look here. Scrolls that were found, the scriptures, on this side here, if you want to have a look.
This is how a Jew looks like after putting all this water.
Alright, this is the last site before we go to the cable car. When the excavators came here in 1960s, they found few remains of bodies or skeletons, less than 50. So they took them and reburied them in the valley down. They did a Jewish funeral and reburied them. We're standing in a chapel, a Byzantine chapel. In the Judean desert, you'll find lots of chapels in the Judean desert, in deserted areas. The Byzantines used to live in the desert the same way John the Baptist went and lived in the desert, spending their time meditating, praying to the Lord. So this is a 5th century Byzantine chapel that was built here. Later on, that was abandoned. And the whole place was abandoned till 1960s, the excavators that came. So again, for the state of Israel, this is a very important place where they bring all soldiers here to study the history. They used to do the swear into the army here, but not anymore. They do it now at the Kotel, the Western Wall, the holy site. Right, let's all go towards the cable car together.
dining room.
That's a wave to this guy.
Early morning, you don't want anything.
Well, they had a good breakfast.
She's getting it out of it.
I would have probably tried to do that, but I don't have time.
Quite a strenuous climb.
It is. But you would feel so good afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it. Given time and it not too hot. And a water.
Give her some water.
Yeah. Bring a couple of water bottles.
Nurses do not walk as fast going up.
No.
I don't have to have it, I can hear you. You have good protection. I can stand at the back and hear everything. But you can put dust protection, very valuable skill. I agree, I think you ought to make it.
Yeah, I would.
I bet you the guy at the bottom is selling ice cream and water.
We'll let the boss talk about that.
I don't know. That would be a perfect place to put a water stand.
Too, and he said, hey,
Yeah, what, before you go up.
Because you still got to go uphill back there, right?
oh, look at the green. No way.
You can look at the fortification here. The little garrison here.
Bunch of us. I like this.
Which is called Store, because it has 10 miles long mountains of salt. And there is a column of salt, what we call Lot's wife. What's Lot's wife name? Her name is Mrs. Lot. We don't know. Her name is not mentioned in the Bible. When the Lord, when the angel appeared to Lot, told him to leave the city of Sodom, and whatever with his family, and whatever happens, whatever happens, don't look back. So Lot's wife looked back and she turned into a column of salt. Yeah, there is a small airport here. No archaeological proof of the city of Sodom. It should be somewhere here, but no archaeological proof. But there is a place called Sodom further south, 1 hour drive south. There's Sodom and Gomorrah, no. because of light. They were sure that any power, any danger against them, the power of God will destroy their opponents. Anybody not part of their sect or community is son of darkness, they call themselves. So they came here, and that became their community center, and it's like this replica of vessels that were found here, their food stuff. And an important thing, this is not original, by the way. This is a replica, a facsimile of their community laws. So they recopied the Bible, the Old Testament, and they wrote their community law. So here you can see and in Arabic.
That's
so,
why you want to make the sandal.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now we're going. Well, actually, I did on the way. If you remember, on the way going to Masada, I did most of the explanations on the bus to make it easier now here. Here I'll point out things. I may add few other things. Okay. Let's go this way. Let's be together. If you remember, I pointed out some caves from the bus this morning. Now, what about water here? Water, where did they get water from? And can you see, first of all, the watchtower? All ancient cities had watchtowers. To see, they can look for a long distance, miles and miles, to see if any danger is against them, so they can take their precautions. Water, it's the same idea. They built through the valleys, when it will be flooded, through water aqueducts into big water systems. So these are the water aqueducts here.
Look at the cave up there. How much at some point people should have looked up.
Yeah, it looks like there's a cave in that corner.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a few like that around.
So, ladies and gentlemen, they say it never rains in the desert.
And
well,
it did rain.
We have proof that it does.
I guess we're blessed. We got to see the rain.
Big tent over there too.
They were to dry it and so on. They had the place where they would raise their sheep. Their own kitchen, their own place where they would hide their money and so on. The only thing that you will not see is bedroom.
Why?
Why?
Oh man.
When we were going to different places in the land over here, I mentioned several times for you that people were living in caves.
Caves.
Even rich people. Even Caiaphas' house, we went to a cave. The house was built later on top of it. But in the 1st, 2nd century BC, all people were living in caves, and then they started building the stone houses with the palm branches covering the ceiling. So those humble people, those people who are dedicating to their life to God and to the work of the religion, they wouldn't build fancy rooms for themselves to have a better standard of living or quality of life. Instead, they were living in those caves that you see around you. And then when you want to come into the community in the morning to work, you have to immerse yourself into the mikveh to be purified, and then before you eat, you will also purify yourself. So, we will walk now slowly, look around you. Over there you have a tower. Now this tower was not only for enemies, because those people were not warriors, they were not army people. The tower is mainly to protect them from wild animals, especially non-kosher animals, because all this region was dedicated to religious work and Bible study. So they have to be 100% purified, and they wouldn't allow, for example, a wild pig to go through the community over there. Okay?
Well, now what's down there? Purified rock. Or purified. Before you...
Ulit. Si Mami kasi humihit.
taking camera there.
Good morning.
Walang ibang choice kundi go ahead, whatever you can catch and edit it later. Ready, 1, 2, 3.
All right, Father, that's fine.
Let's get on the street.